Super League's back on centre stage after last week's cup distraction, and what a way to return. A bank holiday means 3 games across the weekend. Wigan Saints tomorrow at 7, Sky Sports 1. Another massive challenge for the Warriors. And on Monday night at 7, Salford against Harlequins is on Sky Sports 2. In Australia, the NRL continues. Tomorrow's live game is Brisbane against Canterbury. Join Chris Warren and the team at 10:30 on Sky Sports 2. And it's the same time, same channel for NRL Sunday, which features every try scored, plus extended highlights of Parramatta against the Sydney Roosters. But right now, second place behind the runaway Super League leaders from St Helens is up for grabs at Odsal. More important than that, local bragging rights are at stake. It's Bradford against Leeds, with the Rhinos aiming for a 3rd win in a row, deep in Bulls territory. Odsal, at the moment, Leeds Rhinos occupy second spot, but there's just a point between them and the Bulls, and the Saints aren't in action until tomorrow at Wigan. So a chance to close the gap then. Hull, Warrington and Salford will wait for any slip ahead of them. At the bottom, Wigan face yet another must-win game against the league leaders tomorrow. But for Wigan now, just about every game is taking on the atmosphere of a sudden death affair. And the fact of the matter is, they've got to start winning soon. The other fixtures this weekend will pan out like this. Tomorrow, Catalan Dragons entertain Wakefield in Perpignan, and Wigan host the Saints. On Sunday, it's Warrington against Castleford at 3, with Hull against Huddersfield starting a quarter of an hour later. And then on Monday night at 7, it's Salford against Harlequins to complete the round. And it's live, that one, don't forget, on Sky Sports 1. Well, no one knows what this fixture means in this part of the world better than the man that we have asked to be our special guest here on Sky Sports tonight. Brian Noble had some fantastic days here at Odsal, not least, of course, 5 straight grand finals. I don't think he'll mind if I say that perhaps this year the Wigan coach won't be involved in the Old Trafford finale, but I must say that Steve O'Phil and I are delighted to have you here, Brian, for your debut back at Odsal. It's the first time since you left this club last April, and it was such a part and parcel of your life, wasn't it? It must be a strange feeling sitting here. You had to find a new parking spot. They've just about let you in through the gate, and you're not involved in a match like this for the first time.
I was quite nervous, actually. I didn't know if I'd get in or not. I didn't know whether they'd be throwing stones and pebbles or what the reaction would be, but everybody's been very, very friendly. I've managed to get myself in here, and it's strange being a neutral in this fixture, because it's obviously been a part of my life for 11 years as a coach and previously as a player here, but it is a big occasion. It's the best fixture on the calendar for Leeds and Bradford fans, bar none. And I'm really excited and looking forward to it. I'm sure you are. You're a neutral, I'm sure, lowercase. I bet I know who you'll be rooting for tonight. But before we move on, I must ask you about the plight that you've got yourselves in at Wigan at the moment. You're working hard, I know, on and off the field to put things right, not least the fact that you've moved into the transfer market this week. Michael Dobson, now that his stint with the Catalan Dragons is over, he's part of the fabric at Wigan. Is he the man to turn it round? Well, I think it's important we don't think he's the Messiah. He's not going to change the fortunes of the club. I hope he's going to help. I think he's practiced well with us this week, you know, from Wednesday onwards when we realised he was available. And I think he will add something to the team. But as a young man, we're not going to put any pressure on him whatsoever. He's not the reason why we're in a little bit of a hole at the moment. It might be one of the reasons why we start climbing out of that hole. But I have to say that all the players are putting in, and if they replicate the effort on the practice field, this season will turn around. And you're nearly getting back to full strength, aren't you? So, dare I say it, time for Wigan's excuses to stop? Oh, well, I'm not an excuses person anyway. I've not used injuries and never would. I never did at Bradford, and I wouldn't at Wigan. You know, the reality is we have to perform, and there've been some reasons why, you know, we've not been performing. Hopefully they're changing. Hopefully we're getting in the right spirit. We know that it's going to be tough. It's going to, you know, may even get a little bit tougher, but the reality is that their efforts in practice and their performances on the field are improving, and if we maintain that kind of improvement, I know we'll win some games. And we'll see whether you win tomorrow night against the Saints here on Sky Sports 1, which of course now for Brian Noble will be the biggest. Absolutely, the biggest derby in rugby league going. Super League, that's right. Back to this game here, Brian. Obviously you'll support Bradford, I'm sure, but you know, they played poorly against Saints last week in the Cup. Can they bounce back? They will bounce back. You know, the advent of Brian Smith coming along as well will have galvanised a lot of people and will have sparked a few people up. Steve himself will recognise that the group of players that have been assembled at Bradford are the type of people that will hurt after that performance. And the only way you can show that disappointment and the fact that you're hurting is to bounce back. And what a fixture to bounce back in. it's going to be terrific. I'm going to really look forward to see. I think you'll see some big collisions early on, and I think you see the reinforcement of the belief that Bradford can win the Super League.
Phil, not long ago, just before Easter, in fact, we saw these two meet. Leeds 18, Bradford 20 at Headingley. Now, there has been a bit of a bug sweeping the Bradford camp, we hear today. Brett Ferris, who scored the last-minute try in that match at Headingley, is out. But can, without him, Bradford repeat that win?
Yes, I think they can if they're able to employ the same defence mechanisms that they showed that night at Headingley. Don't forget, in that game, Leeds had the majority of possession, and in fact they had spent a lot of that possession attacking Bradford in their own half, but the Bulls' defence that night was really magnificent, and they hung in with the character really to come back, gave themselves the chance to go the length of the field in the last minute of the game and win it. Shows you the character that Bulls have. So although it was a disappointing defeat last weekend, they will bounce back from that, I've no doubt about it. When you get two sides so evenly matched, it's important that you get the better of your opponent. And Stuart Fielden here, playing for the Bradford Bulls, knows straight away. He's the hard man, he's the leader in the pack really for the Bulls. He has to play well for the Bradford side to set that platform on which his teammates can follow. He is a dynamic player, and we've seen him at his best. You know what I mean? He breaks more tackles than anybody else in this Bradford outfit. Provides a quick play of the ball very often because of the strength he's got. Just look, he really fills that shirt, doesn't he? And you know what, he's so difficult to pull down that very often teams concede penalties just trying to wrestle him to the ground. So a really key performer, only 26 years of age, but really in his prime. Facing a player, I think, for the Leeds side here tonight in James Peacock, who comes back for the first time to face the Bradford Bulls at Odsal. Again, the standout forward that the Rhinos have. Couple of years older than Stuart Fielden and a slightly different player. Better at offloading the ball, making a bit more meters, but not quite as impactful when he carries the ball, but nevertheless so important, and again provides the character and backbone of the Rhinos side. So two real key performers, and they almost neutralised one another back in round 9 when they met at Headingley. Again, one of those two will want to stand out and lead his side on to victory tonight.
Well, big night for Jamie Peacock and a big night for the Leeds Rhinos here, but the fact of the matter is, Steve-O, that if you look at their Super League form, all right, Leeds are in the quarter-finals of the Challenge Cup, Bradford are not. You look at the Super League form, a bit nervous for the coaches and players. They're not performing all that well.
No, there's a lot of lack of coordination, it seems, between the combination of the forwards and, of course, getting the three quarters moving out wide. It has not been a very, very good time for both the players and the coaches. I must say, though, that what this game will bring is that where you have to just roll up the sleeves and do some very, very hard work. No finesse, no fuss, just get on with some really, really hard work, especially in the forwards. That is where these derby games are won. Believe you me, they really will crash into each other. We've already mentioned the fact that you've got Fielden and Peacock against each other, but we can then see when the forwards take over, which side will take control. That will remain to be seen, especially in the opening 15-20 minutes, because then it gives the opportunity of these great three quarters. Now, we have this man, Leslie Vinicola, and I'm telling you, if they can get the combination like we saw late last year with Shontaine Harpy, that does not seem to have gelled this year, and I'm sure that Steve McNamara, the coach, will be quite happy to make sure that they get as much ball as they can. But in the opening 15-20 minutes, as I say, I think this is going to be one heck of a forward battle. Now, Vinicola will be against Scott Donald. Now, this guy has got plenty of pace, but I must say he's a little bit lax when it comes to positional play and also his defence. I don't think it's going to be an easy night for this guy against the volcano, Mr. Vinicola. As you can see there, he's practicing taking the ball, and I think he'll get plenty of practice of that during the 80 minutes. The Leeds coach, Tony Smith, fully aware that they will bombard this fella. They will put him under a lot of pressure. If they don't, it will surprise me. But don't miss it. This is going to be one heck of a battle up the front.
It is, and much talk this week, of course, about the return to Odsal of a former coach in Brian Smith. He has moved in here this week for about 6 weeks in an advisory role to the new man in charge at Odsal since Brian Noble left. That's Steve McNamara, of course, the youngest coach in the Super League. But don't let talk about Brian Smith moving back to Odsal take anything away from what traditionally is one of the biggest fixtures of any Super League season.
Cast your mind back to 1996, the birth of Super League. Bradford were awesome that year. They doubled their gates, ended third in the table and battered Leeds twice. Brian Smith was coach then, and Steve McNamara was on top form. Now he's the head coach and in charge of his first big derby game, possibly the biggest fixture in Super League.
I think it is. I think it's a huge contest and played in front of huge crowds, and there's been some fantastic games, so you've got to say it's up there.
Is it the biggest game in rugby league, this Bradford-Leeds game?
It's always the argument, isn't it? But yeah, I've got to agree with it. It is currently, just with the recent history of the two teams, and that they've competed in the last two grand finals, and it is a sellout each time they meet each other. The argument's always on the other side of the Pennines, but probably, with Wigan in their position at the moment, this has certainly got to edge it out, I'd say.
By 1998, it was Leeds in the ascendancy. Nearly 20,000 people saw the Rhinos beat the Bulls at Odsal. Bradford ended the season in 5th, Leeds 2nd. The rivalry reaches new heights. No need for extra motivation.
It's naturally big enough. It's a sellout crowd, and any player will tell you that they can't help pick up on the atmosphere of a packed house, and it's always great to come here to Odsal. So it's got its own atmosphere, so you don't have to hype it too much to build it too much. It's an occasion on its own, and but once they get out in the field, it's important that they just go about all their little things and do all the little roles within the game to do that properly. And if our team does them well, they'll come out on top. If Bradford does it better, well, they'll come out on top too.
1999 and a record-breaking crowd of 24,000 watch a Super League classic.
There's McNamara, now it's with Withers. Withers goes for it!
With games like this, it's hardly surprising that crowds are getting bigger. But sometimes it's off-the-field news that gets all the media attention, like Steve McNamara's audacious move to bring Brian Smith to Odsal this week.
I saw an opportunity to cheekily ask Brian if he'd be interested in coming across and helping out, because whilst we're okay covering, coaching the players on the pitch and training at the first team level, we're really understaffed at the lower grades at the minute. So it was an opportunity for Brian to come in and cover some of them areas and educate some of the other staff, which, as a coach, it's your job to educate your staff as well. And just with the lack of personnel we've got, it's been impossible to do that. So Brian, is an extra pair of eyes and a fantastic pair of eyes to bring in as well.
He can't have any effect in such a short space of time, can he? Or can he?
I'm sure he'll have some effect on Bradford at some stage. As to how much, you'll have to ask Bradford at the end of his tenure here, and I'm pleased for him and for Bradford. He's had quite a strong connection here from many years ago, and he left early to go to Parramatta at that stage. So I'm sure he's got some of that affiliation still there with Bradford.
Smith's coaching style, albeit adapted by successive Bradford coaches, continued to pay dividends for the Bulls even after he'd left. In 2003, they dominated the competition and their old rivals Leeds. Steve McNamara can't wait to put his stamp on the current side.
What will it mean to you to be able to concentrate on first team solely for the first time since you took up?
It means a lot. It means a real lot. We went down to London last week, and we had the first team to cover on a Saturday. Then we had to stay down there and cover the 16s, 18s, and 21s. And it's been okay because we've been organised, but we can only do that for so long. The opportunity with Brian being available and coming across here anyway, it's just too good an opportunity for the club to miss out on.
The last two Super League seasons have belonged to these two clubs. 2004 was the year of the Rhino. They beat the Bulls in every league fixture and in the grand final. But the Bulls turned the tables last year, coming from third to win the Super League trophy. But that, says the Rhinos boss, is all in the past.
Nothing will change the history. Whatever you do on this occasion, it's not going to change any result that you've had in the past. I want my players to want to do well every week and just put in their best performance they can. And if they do that, they can be proud of themselves.
The Bulls have already beaten the Rhinos once this season, and a win tonight will see them swap places with their rivals in the league table. Music to the Bulls fans' ears, no doubt. Just don't expect the Rhinos to dance to that tune.
Brian Noble was glued to the screen then during that piece from Angela. Some great memories for you there. How do you feel sitting all out of it now and being a neutral, in quotation marks?
Well, I get to go with something equally special tomorrow. I'm a lucky person. You know, the new challenge for me has invigorated me. I'm really enjoying it. You know, and that sounds strange. But, you know, we're not winning as many games as I would like, but you know, it's great. But I love coming here when it's full. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's the same at Headingley, and it's been a lifelong affiliation in respect of battling the old enemy Leeds Rhinos. So that doesn't go overnight. You know, so it's still exciting. I'm still rooting madly for the Bulls tonight because I just want to have a pint with some of the boys tonight and have a smile on their faces. But it's a big fixture, and everybody who's competitive and who likes to challenge wants to be involved in the biggest fixtures across the world, and this is one of them.
And sadly, some of the players who want to be involved in this match will not be tonight, because there is a bug that has swept through the Bradford Bulls camp in the past 24 hours. Bill Arthur is our man on the sideline, and he's got all the news.
Well, that's right, Eddie. Late problems for Steve McNamara, with Brett Ferris and Mick Withers being stricken by the tummy bug that's laid them low. They, fingers crossed, according to the Bulls camp, are the only two suffering from it, but they are worried that it might just be the start of something at the club. Interesting, from the Leeds point of view, Ali Lauatiti, who is not on the team sheet, is out there warming up with the side. There's no injury. Ali Lauatiti rested for the Rhinos tonight. Another man missing for the Rhinos tonight, missing for the rest of the season, sadly, as the Harley Davidsons warm up just alongside us. Missing for the rest of the season for Leeds is Richie Mathers, full-back. Lee Smith, only third game in that position tonight. First of all, a terrible way to end your association with the club. You're off to the Gold Coast next year. To end like this probably isn't the way you wanted to part company.
No, absolutely devastated with the injury, and it just couldn't have happened at a worse time for me. And obviously with me leaving to go to the Gold Coast next year, I've unfortunately played my last game for Leeds, and just really gutted, yeah.
Well, I mean, this is one game of the season that you always want to be involved in, isn't it?
Yeah, they're absolutely massive games, whether they're at Headingley or also the atmosphere is absolutely electric, and with the rivalry between the two sides, it's one of them on the calendar that you don't want to miss.
It's a hard one to call this tonight, isn't it, Richie? Because, I mean, Bradford awful in their own admission last weekend against Saints. Leeds in recent weeks haven't been running that hot.
I think regardless of form, obviously both teams are not playing at the top of the games as I'd like, but derby games, they just bring something different out, regardless whether you're winning or losing. It just brings that extra little bit out of the players, and I think it'll be a real close game tonight.
It's tough for you to watch, though, isn't it?
It is, especially like being a Leeds lad and growing up and being on the terraces at these games, and I've been jumping out my seat and cheering like one of the fans, but hopefully the boys will do well.
Just make sure you don't do any more damage to that knee.
Hopefully not, no.
Well, you'll be able to hear more from Richie on Boots and All on Wednesday, and you should be able to hear him then.
Yeah, well done, Bill. The old Harley Davidson giving him a bit of trouble in the background. Now, we've mentioned already that Brian Smith has made his return to Odsal. He's come in at the invitation of Steve McNamara, the new coach, the youngest coach in Super League, Steve McNamara, fresh into the job. Should he have asked Brian Smith to come, or should he have said, this is my job now, and I'm going to take it on and do it as I see fit?
I think the latter. I think that Steve McNamara really should have stood up and said, they've given me the opportunity. It happened for Brian Noble, and I think that they should have continued on with that conveyor belt. Okay, he's coming for maybe 6-8 weeks. We all know the experience of Brian Smith. That is without doubt. We know that he's a great coach, and that is without doubt. But will it be confusion, or will he interfere? I am very, very pleased if Brian Smith will stay in the shadows and do what they say at this club, is that he will be there to help in the background. And if he stays in the background, that will be absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that Steve McNamara will pick up some wonderful, wonderful hints. But there comes a time in your life when you've got to stand up, be counted, and be on your own. He's had that opportunity, and I'm just a little bit confused that he's gone this way in saying, please come and help. You've got to sometimes be thrown in the deep end to see whether you can swim, and I think he has missed the opportunity. Let's hope that it does not confuse him. Let's hope that Brian Smith keeps well and truly out of it and just gives him the support. If that is the case, then they will come out and be extremely successful. But what happens when he goes back? It's very, very difficult to find out.
Well, only time will tell as far as that's concerned. But on the positive side, Brian Smith must bring something to this club. He must do, because, I mean, you know, you're all great friends. You know each other inside out. And he will just be there as maybe a sounding board for Steve McNamara.
I think it'd be great for Steve. You know, I think Steve's competent in his own right. He's a smart bloke, Steve McNamara, and we consulted each other for long hours and long hours on every aspect of the game. And I've no doubts in Steve's ability. Neither has Brian. We all swap notes in and amongst in our travels, and you know, he was coming over here on holiday anyway, and what a great opportunity for him to find out whether he's at the highest level or not, you know, in respect of what, you know, the preparations are with Brian Smith and the teams that he's run over the last 20 years of successful coaching. So I don't think it'd be too much of a problem.
Coaches can only say so much. It's the players who have to go out there and perform on the night. And Phil, who's going to perform best tonight, do you think?
I'm used to guessing with these games, but I'd probably just go for the Bradford Bulls because it was the home advantage maybe that slightly favours them. I think there's been a question mark over Leeds forwards for the last few weeks. You know, they move the ball around more than any other side. They can score tries from anywhere, but maybe they haven't had the consistency really to grind out a win. And I think without that ability here today, I don't think they'll pick up the 2 points.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed your sight for the time being of Mr. Clark and Mr. Stevenson, because they won't be here at half-time. Sitting alongside Brian Noble will be his opposition on June the 27th. The New Zealand coach, Brian McLennan, is in town. And as well as just discussing this match here at half-time, we're actually going to be talking the test match between Great Britain and New Zealand at St Helens on the 27th of November with the two head coaches of the nations. It's a unique opportunity. Don't miss that. That's coming up at half-time. But there's a huge crowd inside Odsal tonight, and I must say we've been a little bit critical this year of the amount of volume coming from the Odsal terraces. I don't think we'll be short of noise tonight, because Leeds are in town. They are the fierce rivals. They are the nearest and dearest, and well, no prisoners taken when these two meet. It's a great way to resume the Super League action on Sky Sports. Bradford Leeds is next. Second place in the Engage Super League to the winners here. The Bulls are third at the moment, Leeds are second just now, and they remain the major threat to St Helens' dream of a fifth Super League title. This is the scene inside the Bradford Bulls dressing room. These two clubs have contested the last two Old Trafford Grand Finals. There has been one win apiece. But the Leeds Rhinos, they're under greater scrutiny now than at any time during Tony Smith's 3 seasons at Headingley. They've been well beaten in 2 of the last 3 in Super League, and they've conceded 19 tries in the process. This is the Bradford Bulls lineup. A little bit of rejigging late on because of the sickness bug sweeping the dressing room. So Marcus St Hilaire goes to full-back. Carl Price comes in on the wing. There is no Michael Withers. Ben Harris, Shontaine Harpy, Leslie Vinacola, the three-quarter line. Yestin Harris up against his former club, of course, the captain, and Paul Deacon, the scrum half. The forwards, it's Stuart Fielden, Terry Newton and Andy Lynch. Brad Myers comes into the side in the second row. He was due to start on the bench. He'll partner Paul Johnson, and Jamie Langley is the loose forward. And the bench is occupied by Joe Vanganar, Ian Henderson, who wasn't named in the original 17, Stanley Jean, and young Matt James. The coach is Steve McNamara. One notable absentee from that Bradford side, Brett Ferris, who scored the last-minute try against the Leeds Rhinos at Headingley just before Easter. They go with Lee Smith at full-back. Then it's Scott Donald, Chev Walker, Keith Senior, and Danny Williams, Danny Maguire, alongside Rob Burrow. Nick Scruton takes his place in the front row alongside Matt Diskin and Jamie Jones Buchanan. Jamie Peacock, the former Bradford captain, he moves into the second row to partner Gareth Ellis, and Kevin Sinfield is the skipper. And on the bench, it's Ryan Bailey, Shane Millard, Willie Poaching, and Chris Feather. The coach is Tony Smith. There's no place in the 17 for Ali Lauatiti. Well, Kevin Sinfield back from injury against Rochdale in the Cup last weekend. He got the Man of the Match award, and he will no doubt pep up this Leeds Rhinos side. Interesting night for Chev Walker, who we just saw going through the screen a moment ago. He turned down a new deal at Headingley this week. Bath Rugby Union. Brian Noble is a big fan, and Melbourne Storm. I'm sure they are all interested in the services of Chev Walker. Big crowd at Odsal as the Rhinos come out, but a mooted arrival on the scene compared to what we're about to hear for the Bradford Bulls, I am sure. It's the biggest night so far for Steve McNamara, Super League's youngest coach. He goes up against Tony Smith, who made him captain of Huddersfield during his playing days. And there is a look of determination on the faces of these Bradford players. They didn't play well at St Helens in the Cup, and out they come to a real crescendo of noise. This is the 6th game in the post-Brian Noble era. 2 wins, 3 defeats, including that 42-18 reverse in the Challenge Cup at St Helens last Saturday. For Steve McNamara now, it's Old Trafford or bust. Steve Ganson is the man in the middle. The skies have cleared, the sun's streaming down, it's almost a summer's night. Whisper it quietly, big crowd, great game in prospect.
Certainly is, Eddie, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure that the players will give us a wonderful treat. As you said, it's getting pretty warm out there. It will be when the forwards get in touch.
We're underway. Paul Deacon with the kickoff, hangs in the breeze. Maguire, and first tackle of the night on Nick Scruton. Maguire's the dummy half. They'll come up the middle with Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Eager tackling early by the Leeds forwards, and Fielden leading the way there as he grounds Matt Diskin.
So important for Leeds to get through a good set of 6. Make sure that they've got a good kick. They're going early.
And there was the kick from Sinfield. Bounces on the 10-metre line. I think that Leeds have the wind at their backs, if anything, just at the moment in the first half. The flags on the stand on the opposite side of the field that we watch are standing stiffly on their poles. So how will the kickers utilise that breeze? Kevin Sinfield with the responsibility first with that wind at his back. This is Stuart Fielden now for Bradford.
Eddie, you talk about kicking and its importance in modern day rugby league. It was almost half an hour before the Bulls got a kick of any real quality in last week in that cup match against St Helens, and they know that they need better field position if they want to compete with the Rhinos tonight.
St Helens were very good in the cup, but Bradford, to use Steve McNamara's own evidence, they were awful.
Well, St Helens were absolutely sensational, so maybe that is a big part. But the man that's just at dummy half there is going to be so important for the Bulls tonight, and that's Terry Newton. I said before the kick-off that you've got to just roll the sleeves up and put some really good hard work, and he will lead the way, will Terry Newton.
That was Danny Williams, the 19-year-old winger. Lee Smith has dropped back to full-back because Richie Mathers has played his last game for the Rhinos. So Danny Williams gets an extended run in the first team, and up against the likes of the Terry Newton tonight, the number 13, the Great Britain international, the former Leeds hooker who made his debut at 17 years of age in April 1996.
Good work from Rob Burrow there. You see that Bradford a little bit slow setting up in the first and second marker position. And that's got to be an advantage. It's so low to the ground, it can duck underneath any would-be tackler.
On halfway, it's with Kevin Sinfield who'll hoist the kick again, and that's another high hanger, but I was going to say it will bounce out, but it doesn't, and Marcus St Hilaire will run it back. Well, it's about time, I think, that we went down to the press benches to join Dave Hadfield, who is the spokesman for the British press in the awarding tonight of the man of the match. Steve McNamara, no doubt, Dave, will be looking for a big game from Euston Harris and Paul Deacon. And Jamie Peacock on his first return to Odsal. He's bound to be under your microscope as well.
Yeah, I think Euston and Paul Deacon will both feel they've got a bit of something to prove after some standard performances last week in the Cup at Saints. But their players, whenever they face that sort of situation in their careers, they usually come up with the goods. For Leeds, I think you can bet on Jamie Peacock having a big game. The suggestion is going to be used more as a second row than a prop tonight. A couple of markers for the future as well. Lee Smith already in at full-back for Richard Mathers, and Chev Walker still out there, but edging towards the end of his Leeds career. Interesting to see how he goes.
It's Leeds on the attack with Lee Smith. He can now cement his place as the Leeds full-back. Danny Maguire skipping away from the would-be tacklers, but Harris got to him with help from Langley and Myers. He is put to the ground. They know the danger that Maguire poses. There's Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Now it's with Nick Scruton. Again, 3 Bradford tacklers get him down, 22 metres away from their line. Diskin at dummy half gives it to the diminutive Rob Burrow. Good ball back on the inside, and they keep it alive. Here is Lee Smith, and he is just hauled down 10 metres short of the line. Last tackle here for the Rhinos. It's with Maguire, and it's got smuggled away, and Bradford have to muscle up in defence, and they do on their own line.
Peacock nearly made it there. It was a beautiful little short off-field. Lovely pass from Kevin Sinfield there, but full credit to this Bradford outfit. They got back in numbers.
And that's reminiscent of round 9, isn't it? The line was penetrated at Headingley, but every time they were able to get back, most occasions, and prevent the lead side from getting over it. Interesting, the quick, speedy, small guys for the Rhinos taking off from around that play-the-ball area and finding a few gaps in and around the big Bradford forwards.
Here's Andy Lynch, interested spectator tonight at this game. For the first time as a neutral is our guest, Brian Noble, the Wigan coach. What do you make of the opening 5, Brian?
Vigorous, violent in some respects, in respect to the contact that they've got on each other, and that's what you'd expect. Leeds with the wind behind him, you'd expect them to get a little bit more field position in respect of their kicks. And that's why we see Bradford in the main kicking from their own half in this arm wrestle stage of the game, and Leeds bringing the ball back round about the 30 and the 40 metre area. But that could change anything. Leeds look really dangerous out of dummy half. They're trying to speed the game up in and around there.
Scott Donald in at dummy half this time. He scampers away, gets as far as Brad Myers, who gets a good hit on him. Only 2 appearances for Myers in the past 12. And here come the Rhinos again, in the shape of Keith Senior. He plays the ball to Burrow. Here now Jamie Jones-Buchanan gets 10 metres, 12 metres inside the Bradford half of the field before he's tackled by Johnson. It's with Maguire. Maguire, good ball to Diskin. Diskin, knocked forward.
They'll play the first knock on, but that was good build-up there, but they just held on a little bit too long. He really should have shown the dummy, which he did, and then offloaded. There was a huge gap there for Matt Diskin to go through. Just shows you the nerves.
Couldn't take the pass in.
If it had been a second phase, perhaps that would have been better. And problems for Terry Newton. Lost his boot.
Yeah, so that goes back on. And the referee just waiting for Terry Newton to take his place in the front row of that scrum alongside Andy Lynch and Stuart Fielden. Deacon with the feed then. Centre field, midway inside their own half. It's with Ben Harris. And the tackle made by Chev Walker. Here is Myers again.
Oh, that was high and they've missed it.
Peacock up over the shoulder of Myers.
Well, you may have thought it the shoulder. I'm not so sure it was. They've got away with it. We expected it to be tough, though. Bang. No doubt about it. Should have been a penalty.
Bradford still in possession. Tackle number 4.
Poof.
Yes, Peacock did catch him high. It's now with Paul Deacon, who ducks under the challenge.
Good defence by Leeds there. You could see out wide they were coming in on the angle. They're forcing down the middle.
Neat kick from Yistin Harris. There's work here for young Williams to do. And he's got the considerable frame of Carl Price all over him.
He's got it pinched.
Price
Play on.
has pinched the ball. That's one wall. Great piece of skill by Carl Price. Big chance for Bradford as Harpy steps out of one challenge.
Oh, he loved it. He's knocked on.
The referee will hand it on to the video referee, Dave Campbell, to check whether it was a knock-on.
He wants to see whether it's reefed away, but I think he just loses it.
Ball was grounded in goal.
He's lost it.
Having a look.
No doubt about it. Under the attention of Scott Donald, there was no arm there. He was in the process of doing the tackle, and the centre, Shantaine Harpy, has lost the football. This will be no try.
Big screen will tell us. No try. Scrum to Leeds. the defending side. Knock on by Shontaine Harper.
Massive let-off there for the Rhinos, not just because of the opportunity to try. There's the one-on-one steal from Kyle Price, but you just can't afford to allow Bradford possession within 10 metres of your try line. We've said it before on Sky Sports. They are the best side at crashing over the line when they get close to it, and the Rhinos are hell-bent on keeping them as far away as possible from that line.
It's Leeds who are in possession. That was Lee Smith, and he got the ball away to Gareth Ellis.
You can see Leeds, they want to get on with the game very, very quickly. Good thinking from Diskin. Tried to milk the penalty. Not forthcoming. Paul Johnson definitely didn't get back to 10.
The kick from Maguire down centre field will bounce very kindly for Marcus St. Hilaire. And St. Hilaire drives the ball forward. Non-playing substitute at Leeds, at Headingley, just before Easter. And a former Huddersfield teammate of Steve McNamara, Marcus St. Hilaire. Here is big Leslie Vainicolo, gets the ball away neatly to Brad Myers.
Getting to a lot of work is the second rower Myers.
Well, the crowd appealing to the referee for a penalty for not standing square, but he says play on, and Bradford will. This is Deacon. Scruton with an important tackle. Terry Newton, the dummy half, and Newton will try and cut them up.
Back to 6.
Back to 0 in the tackle count, yes. It's Brad Myers for the Bulls.
Great work from Newton there.
Definitely played at, I think, by Chev Walker. This is Andy Lynch. Good tackle by Gareth Ellis. Deacon, 20 metres away, finds Terry Newton. Great ball round the corner, Myers. Gift for Scott Donald.
He's got the speed.
Scott Donald. Vainicolo's missed in field and didn't.
What an effort from Fielden. The prop forward Fielden has enough common sense to go back, didn't just leave it to his winger Vainicolo, who may have got a slight touch, but what an effort from a prop forward.
Here is Williams again. Takes 3 to bring him down, and suddenly Leeds now are 20 metres away from the Bradford line. Burrow goes wide to Gareth Ellis. And that's the turnover.
Well, they missed that, didn't they? They missed the opportunity. That wasn't a clearly run, but look at this here. Donald just put himself between the ball and Harpe. Had to do really the overlap with the Harpe and Vainicolo outside him. Great cover again from Field, and you see the difference of the styles of these two teams. Leeds, a much quicker side, can go the length of the field very, very quickly. Bradford need to patiently work upfield and then bring out the big guns.
It's Leeds, though, who have pinched possession back. And here is Diskin. This is a glorious opportunity for the Rhinos. Back on the inside to Peacock. And Peacock is stopped dead in his tracks, 5 metres away from the line. Little crisis here for the Bradford Bulls as Diskin waits at dummy half. And he fires the ball to Burrow. And Burrow attacks the line.
Oh, that looked forward. He delayed it. They've got away with it.
Johnson with the tackle on Gareth Ellis. Burrow again. It's now with Sinfield. And Sinfield with the pass to Maguire. It's open for Maguire. And there is Lee Smith following up. And the referee has handed it on to the video referee again. And he wants to see whether there was some obstruction in the back play.
Okay. Well, someone slipped. Whether he was pushed, I'm not right sure. It was Myers. Brad Myers is the man that's hit the deck. But was he interfered with, or did he just slip? Good offload, good support. The fullback Smith said, I'll have it. Nothing wrong with the grounding, but this is what the video referee will be looking for. I don't think there's anything wrong there. In fact, if anything, Myers has made a lunge forward rather than the other way around. Now watch Myers. He will come into it. No, there's nothing wrong there. This try will be given. If anything, any movement, it was from Myers. He just wants to make sure, but they stop, and it's Myers that goes in, and I don't think there was any interference at all.
Or is it on Jamie Langley?
It's Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Does he not trip over his right leg? That angle shows us better than from behind the post. It's obscured by the goalpost. Yeah, we have to say whether that's an intentional trip or not.
Dave Campbell's decision is pending. No try. That's a big call, but Phil Clark spotted it, and obviously Dave Campbell saw the same.
The runner interfered with the defender, the man in front of the ball.
Well, he's obviously got them for the trip.
Well, the referee has just told the players interference with the defender.
You can't see from that particular angle, but maybe on this wide shot, watch out for the leg. That's the only reason I can see why this try has not been given.
Oh, he's been a bit unfortunate there, hasn't he?
I mean, there was no movement to the leg. I think the video referee has made a right mess of that one.
Well, I'm thinking back a fortnight. Dare we ask Brian Noble for his opinion on video referees at this moment in time?
Probably not, no.
Honest man.
Eddie, that was a good tackle there from Scruton to stop Stuart Field in his tracks and push him back. It's good development for a young front rower.
This is Johnson for Bradford.
Keep coming, boys. Game matter. Go.
Remember, the Bulls beat Leeds 20 points to 18 at Headingley in April. It was their 6th win from 9 in Super League at that point. Out of the cup, though, last weekend. So now the assault begins on a 6th grand final in a row. That's the last tackle.
Well, we're just coming into the 12-minute mark, and I tell you something, they have taken a lot of fuel out of each other in the opening minutes.
Quickness across the ground then by Lee Smith to collect that kick downfield. It was hanging in the breeze, and Lee Smith made fully 40 metres to collect it out of the air. Here is Scott Donald for the Leeds Rhinos, the major close season signing from Manly to replace Mark Calderwood. Whoa, what a hit by Terry Newton on Lee Smith.
Oh, that a big rate cross on it, that one. Oh. Newton lined him up, didn't miss either.
Here's Keith Senior.
Oh, Senior!
Stolen by Ben Harris. Ben Harris, does he have the legs? Carl Price is out there.
He's bombed it.
Where?
And he's bombed it, he's pulled it down. He's had it go to the screen on this. He probably won't be able to make a decision.
He needs some help. It's Leeds head and feet, he says.
Well, he offloaded straight away, and Robbie Barrow got back here. Why didn't he look for Price? He did too late, and it was a knock-on. It'll be a head and feed to Leeds. Well, they're bombing tries from both angles.
Put 4 points next to Rob Burrow's name there. That's the big play you need from your team when they're under pressure. You know, Leeds do love to offload the ball. It's a style they've been successful with over the last couple of years, but when you do it, you need quick players to get you out of trouble with an interception, and Keith Senior will be so grateful that Burrow was there to help out.
Indeed so, and Ben Harris, he just didn't have the legs, but Peacock lined up there by Stuart Fielden. Brothers in arms this time last year. Peacock's last movement, last act as the Bradford captain was to lift the Super League trophy at Old Trafford last October. This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
It just shows you, though, Eddie, the importance of defence and not just giving up. A few moments ago, we saw the prop forward, Stuart Fielden, come back and save a certain try, because I think Scott Donald would have made it. And on that occasion, it was Rob Burrow that stopped Harris. Sensational rugby league football from both sides.
Here's Big Leslie, and he bounces off Chev Walker. The next 3 in get him, though. It's not a bad game, Brian, is it?
It's a great game, and it's interesting that both defences have been broken by errors or by forced pass plays. Either Leeds or Bradford are making breaks end-to-end on the back of a play that's unusual or not being controlled. When both teams look controlled as they are now, they both look very, very dangerous.
It is Easton Harris. And now it's Bradford who are caught in possession on the last. It's the turnover.
Well, both sides are losing the composure.
Well, we've spoken about the volume off the terraces at Odsal this year. Maybe it's a bit loud for them tonight. Maybe the players can't hear the referee's call.
Well, they know that they're coming into each other. I mean, it's real crash tackle stuff. Wonderful to watch, but it has taken a lot of fuel, as I mentioned. They are getting into each other.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan manages to get the offload away to Sinfield, but he's gobbled up by Terry Newton. It's 50-50 in terms of possession to both sides, and the ball has been in play for 14.5 minutes out of 15.5 minutes. That's what makes this game so special.
Certainly does, and what a great effort so far from the Leeds fullback Lee Smith. He's chiming into the three-quarter line. He wants the business. Give it to me.
Rob Burrow, wide it goes to Senior, further wide then to Danny Williams. The youngster comes in, offloads, and it gets eventually to Rob Burrow, back to 0 in the tackle count. Rob Burrow has started his way through. They might not need the extra 6.
Wonderful work from Burrow. He actually waves to the referee and says, shouldn't we get 6 more? Sinfield's lost it.
Maguire.
Maguire, is it? Sorry.
And Maguire and Leslie Vinacolo tangling on the deck. And the referee says play on. Here's Harpy. Great tackle by Jamie Jones Buchanan, but it's a penalty. Hands into the play of the ball.
And it's getting excitable out there, and so am I, and so is this crowd. And I hope you're feeling the same at home, because whenever you're watching it, this is classic stuff.
Calm down.
Me or the players?
Everybody.
Okay.
Brian Noble's the calmest amongst us.
No, don't calm down. There's the temperature. Just
No,
stay
it's
within
tough,
the
boys.
boundaries.
It's not me. I'll do the speaking. Let's get away from where the action is. All right, straight back in the line. Get on with your jobs. Don't want any messing in
Referee's
back
keeping
play.
a lid on it. It's the second penalty that Bradford have received.
And that's good refereeing from Steve Ganson.
Well, he is one official who does say, let's get on with it, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
and he just said straight to the point. Nothing wrong in the back play. Get on with it. We play rugby league, and that is what they're offering us.
Referee wants the ball to, or the play rather, to be restarted from exactly the right spot.
And that was
here is Lynch.
That was a good ploy by the official as well. That gives a few extra seconds to calm the nerves.
So much at stake, not only in terms of the locality here, but also in terms of the top of the Super League table, where St Helens are riding high at the moment, but these two looking to launch the bid to overtake them, and it's Johnson. Ball out the back door. Carl Price does ever so well to come off the whitewash.
Great to see Johnson, isn't it? And no room to move, but Mr. Price, twinkle toes, got him back on the inside.
Harris trying to dart his way through the middle. That's Euston Harris, the former Leeds skipper. Plays the ball to Lynch. He finds Deacon, and Deacon running the angle. Good play, though, by Gareth Ellis. There was nowhere for him to go then. Last one here for Bradford, and the kick from Newton is far too strong.
Well, not the best end to a very good attacking move by the Bulls. But the play before, Paul Deacon was running across looking for someone to offload, and not one person wanted to even think about coming back on a different angle.
It's with Keith Senior for the Rhinos. Interesting thing about them, they won their first title in 32 years at Old Trafford in 2004, of course. 10 of the 17 that night, products of their academy system. If Chev Walker, who has turned down the new deal this week, if he leaves, it will mean that 8 of that title-winning side will have moved on before the end of 2006. They are dismantling this championship-winning side with remarkable speed. Circumstances, of course, maybe led to many of those decisions, but what is it, 18 months, a long time in rugby league? This is Carl Price.
There's a bit of pressure on Carl Price tonight, Eddie, simply for the reason he replaces Marcus Bai on that right wing. And Marcus Bai is so important to the Bulls because he's one of the main goal forward men. He gets them downfield into a position from which players like Harpy and Vinacolo can come up with the tries. So they need somebody to replace Bai's meters.
Stanley Jean is on, the pocket battleship from Papua New Guinea. Here is Leslie Vinacolo, rolls over the top of Maguire first time.
The one thing about Stanley Jean, he will bring a lot of entertainment and create a lot of problems, though. That wasn't the best offload. Newton wasn't aware of that one.
Chris, good effort.
It's the last tackle. And Harris with the hoof up the middle, but it comes back at him. Oh, such is the strength of the wind. Reclaimed by Harris, in it goes to St Hilaire, who will hoof it down again, and again it hangs in the breeze. Easy then for Danny Williams. Well, it's incredible, the strength of this wind.
I think the speed of the match is starting to show now. Both sides have simply been sprinting from the kickoff, and it had to tell. Leeds have adopted that different style. They've not moved the ball around as much. They've tried to go down the middle with that speed, and somebody's going to crack in a few minutes.
Bradford with the wind in their faces and Leeds with the wind at their backs.
Well, I'm sure Steve McNamara, the Bradford coach, will be quite happy. You saw their quick shot of the flags on the stand on the far side. It really is a raging wind. And he knows that it's got to be an advantage, especially when the teams are getting tired.
And it's with Burrow, who stopped for some reason, almost gave himself up then, or gave something away to the referee. This is Williams. Last tackle here for Leeds Rhinos with Maguire. There's the crossfield kick. That hit the bar.
Certainly did. It was on its way out, dead in goal.
This is St. Hilaire doing a good job from fullback.
Well, you know, the kick from Maguire across, there wasn't many of the Leeds players running forward. And that shows you how tired they're looking at the moment, and I'm not surprised.
Ian Henderson off the bench tonight, 30th appearance for the Bulls in the Cup last week. Substitute for a 7th match in a row. Harpy gets the pass away to Langley. Langley goes over the top of Lee Smith. Reinforcements arrive in the shape of Maguire. It's with Deacon. They have some room on the outside. Harris with the kick looking for Price. It's too long.
Great option. He could see that there was no one at home. But what about the quality of Shontaine Harpy before that? The ability to make the half break and then look straight away. There was no one in attendance.
Shontaine Harpy, this is his 30th consecutive appearance, the New Zealand international.
Look at this for quality. Half break and support. Tremendous stuff.
Yes, Harpy, probably one of the Kiwis that we will see in the test against Great Britain at St Helens on June the 27th, and we'll be talking the test with our guest Brian Noble, the Great Britain coach, and Brian McLennan, the New Zealand coach, who is over here at the moment having a look at these Super League New Zealanders and here to promote the test as well. And he'll be talking to us during the half-time break here. Here's Chev Walker. Sinfield. Drive forward.
You know, there's hardly been a stoppage in this half so far.
There hasn't. Diskin waits at dummy half. 10 metres inside his own half. Finds Rob Burrow. Burrow then back on the inside to Sinfield, who flings the pass infield to Chris Feather. Diskin again. Last tackle still inside their own half. High kick from Sinfield. That's got the wind behind it. That bounces dead in goal. Returning from injury to the Super League, Kevin Sinfield returned in the cup tie last week. He has missed the last 6 in this Super League. There's the news of the test match. Britain against New Zealand, Tuesday 27th of June, 7:30, Sky Sports 1. Looking forward to it, Brian?
Really am looking forward to it. I think all the players are looking forward to it as well, both Great Britain and the resident New Zealand people. It's going to be a full-on test match, class against class. A bit like this one tonight. It'll be as vigorous and exciting as this one's been.
Hope so. Here is Vainikolo, who will doubtless figure for the Kiwis. Stanley Jean to Deacon. Vanganard, another man with New Zealand qualifications, of course. Henderson. Good scampering run from Ian Henderson. Stanley Jean. It opens up for Stanley. Not for long. Gareth Ellis there to bring him down. 24.5 minutes gone. We await the first points at Odsal as Harris pumps the ball dead in goal.
Bit of a wasted effort, and he knows the Bradford captain would have wanted something a little bit better than that. But the pace of it, and not surprisingly, when they take the tap on the 20, that it's the wingers that are coming in to cart it forward.
Ellis again now for Leeds. Gets almost to the 40-metre line.
I've got to be honest with you, Eddie. I'm glad that you're talking to the New Zealand and Great Britain coach at half-time. I need a rest. I don't think I can do it.
Oh, Maguire slips the net. Important tackle by Harpy. Willie poaching. Chev Walker picks it up. Somehow hangs on. Flings the ball in field. Brilliantly picked up off the floor by Lee Smith. Looked a bit high from Harpy.
Certainly caught him.
He felt it, Lee Smith. He's gone down in a heap. This is Sinfield. Flat pass finds Gareth Ellis. Great pass out the back to Rob Burrow. Burrow will come up the middle.
It's going to take something special to break either defence. There's a late tackle by Harpy going right into the fullback's face, Lee Smith.
Maguire dabs the ball along the deck. It's picked up by Leslie Vainicolo. Good tackle by Willie Poaching low down. Marcus St. Hilaire to run the ball back.
It's a good game.
Eddie, I don't think we can appreciate that the pressure that both of these sides are under. Having to bring the ball forward, catch it at full speed when you've got defenders in front of you. Just desperate here not to make a mistake. Both teams just trying to get to the other end of the field. Oh, here we go. Good hands from Big Joe.
What about that take from Wangenaar? Plucked it out of the air. Here is Harris. More reason than many in the Bradford side to show up well here tonight against his former club. And Ian Henderson with the kick. Fielded by Lee Smith. Wangenaar and Deacon with the tackle on the young fullback. Some Bradford injury news from Bill.
Bit of concern on the Bulls sidelines about the fitness of Brad Myers, who came off a short time ago. He's only just come back, in fact, to the side after a medial knee ligament injury. You can just see the strapping on his right knee there, and he's just being nursed back, really. And he wasn't due to start tonight, in fact, but because of this virus that they've had, Steve McNamara had to rejig things. So maybe Brad Myers just being handled a little bit calmly tonight.
13 minutes away from half-time. 0-0 here at Odsal as Leeds attack again with Maguire. Finds Poaching. Deacon all over him. Finished off by Johnson. That's the last one, says referee Mr. Ganson. And Maguire with a crossfield kick, bouncing awkwardly, but well taken in the end by Justin Harris. I don't know whether you heard on the referee's microphone just about 2 or 3 minutes ago, he shouted, "Good game." I think it's an understatement, isn't it, from the referee?
I think you may have got it wrong, Eddie. I think he was saying good game by the full-back.
Good game by both full-backs, by all the wingers, all the centres. It's a great game.
No, I mean a gain forward with an
No, an N for Nelly. I don't think so. I think Mr. Ganson said he enjoyed, and he is enjoying a good game, as we all are.
Well, he's taking a big part in it as well.
Deacon with the kick down the line. It does not find touch. Lee Smith sees to that. And here is Williams.
Back it up, Joe.
No, it's not. It's Matt James. My apologies. This is Bailey. Oh, big tackle by Justin Harris. Senior for Leeds.
Keep coming. Hold.
How long can these defences hang on? I mean, they've just been put to the test all the time. Great run again from this little fella.
Yeah, Burrow is looking very, very busy tonight, and he's had a great season so far. Sinfield, Maguire, Feather. Last tackle for Leeds, midway inside the Bradford half. Sinfield, kick down the line. Too deep.
Brian, I know the scoreboard says 0-0, but if you had to say which side was in front on a points decision, who would you go for right now?
I'd probably give it a split even on the 0-0, but the thing that's happening there, Leeds are just running excitingly out of dummy half and look like making a break every time. By play 4 and 5, they're just getting half fingers on them, Bradford. When Bradford make a half a break, it's the same story. They just can't manage to stay at Leeds end of the field. You know, with the quality of their last players, they've kicked a few out on the full, which has given Leeds a reason to get back down the other end. That's the only difference at the moment.
Mine goes back to 12 months ago, exactly 12 months ago when, or was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago when Leeds were up at the KC Stadium against Hull. It was 0-0 at half-time in that match. It was a great contest and Leeds ran away with it in the end. Wangenaar just thumps Maguire to the deck. Here is Langley. Langley stepping out of the challenges again. Important ankle tap that was by Millard. Here is Henderson down the short side. Steps out of the challenge from Millard. Invitation for Vainicolo to chase. And Scott Donald to the rescue. Referee has heard the protest from Leeds.
Judge claiming knock on by Bradford.
They're saying a knock on by Vainicolo.
Let's just have a check for the restart.
Picks it up and then knocks it straight out. Simple knock on.
Originally he said it was going to be a goal line dropout. Now he is having a word with the touch judge, the video referee having a look at it as well.
Yeah,
and that earpiece in Mr. Ganson's ear will be put to good use.
They'll put the scrum down. No doubt about it, the big fella Vanicola got a hand to it. He'll be a very relieved man, though, with the fullback Lee Smith, who I must say in this half has had an absolute wonderful, wonderful game.
Should be the turnover, shouldn't it? It was on the last tackle, all this.
Well, it will be if it is.
But he didn't go to the referee. I think he just said, the video referee rather, I think he just said, let's have a look at it. So anyway, everybody knows what's going on via the big screen. Good stuff.
I think they were quite happy with it. Both sides will say, you know, give us a chance to have a bit of a breather.
I think good stuff from the Bulls too. A bit of danger, threat really with that kick, wasn't it? Hard for the Rhinos to deal with. I know Vanicola knocked on, but as a full-back, when you've been out of breath, working your socks off for 30 minutes like Lee Smith, the last thing you want is a difficult bouncing ball in front of you, and Leslie Vanicola stood behind it.
Here's Shane Millard. His last appearance at Odsal was in the relegated Widnes side that got a 25-all draw here last June. Here's Lee Smith again. Full of running, full of enthusiasm, 19 years of age. Now then, it is with Sinfield. Sinfield with a little dink over the top, looking for Maguire. Oh, it bounced perfectly, but well claimed by Marcus St. Hilaire.
Not surprisingly, both sides that are adopting the kicking game when it gets to the last, because virtually they know that it's impossible to get through the defence, but they'll be tiring. Maybe they just a lack of concentration psychologically. They might just get a little bit mentally tired in the final minutes.
Is there a chink in the armour of either of these two sides as we approach half-time? Deacon. Big collision on the halfway line, the last tackle. That was Matt James of the Bradford Bulls. The kick downfield is from Justin Harris, and that's against the wind, so that will stay. That has to be run back by Scott Donald. He obliges. Makes 13 very good metres forward, the Leeds wing. Langley and Deacon with the tackle.
Well, if there's any tennis fans out there, they'll have enjoyed this, because it's end-to-end stuff, isn't it? What an effort from both sides. And what a good decision by the referee to allow play on there. He has let it flow, as Gamson. Full credit to him.
Senior for Leeds up the middle.
I don't think I've ever seen Keith Senior do that much work in 32 minutes of a match. Really rolled his sleeves up, got involved, run from the dummy half.
Kick from Millard will be too deep again. I don't know whether it's easier to play with this wind at your back, Phil, than it is to play with the wind in your face, because a lot of the Leeds kicks have been far too deep, haven't they?
To use Steve-O's tennis analogy, they just happen to get the ball over the net at the moment, aren't they? Let the other mob deal with it.
Okay.
And look at them walking back.
Yeah, Bradford are in no rush, are they?
Time for new balls.
This is Carl Price for the Bradford Bulls. 7 minutes to half-time. Brian, it was 0-0 at Salford in the cup tie this time last week.
There's some good defences around for the first half, but I just think that Leeds are really trying to punish Bradford in and around the ruck with their dummy half running. And I think your question about the wind is, it's more often easy enough to run fast out of the wind with the wind at your back, but it's easier to get back on side in relation to getting back in your defensive line. And it's probably easy with your pass play. So Bradford will be looking forward to quickening the game up and tempoing the game up out of dummy half themselves in the second half.
Maybe the players of both sides knew that we had you and Brian McLennan as our guests at half-time, so they didn't want to give us too much to analyse during the half-time break, eh? We can concentrate on that test match.
I think there's plenty to analyse.
Well, you know what I mean.
Enthralling, thrilling, great game, and who's going to crack? That's the question.
Hold. Go.
Well, talk about it now, Brian, because you'll be talking internationals at half-time.
Well, I just think that Leeds would be happy to get to half-time, but I think Bradford will be the happier side because they've been half-fractured. When Bradford have put a couple of pass plays through, this is the danger for them.
Here he goes, Rob Burrow. St. Hilaire's missed him. Can Carl Price get in? No! The crack appears, and Rob Burrow is the man who produced it. Terrific speed off the mark from little Rob Burrow. He's played a vital role as a goal kicker in the absence of Kevin Sinfield. But boy, that was a try out of absolutely nothing. He took responsibility on his own shoulders then.
Certainly did, and good work from Senior. Pulled him in, good to the offload. We said it would take something special. And boy, This is special. He has been a thorn in the side so often. Full credit to Bradford on all occasions. They've been able to get numbers back. But talk about backing yourself. I'm going for the corner. Catch me if you can. Beep, beep is there.
There's no answer to speed, is there, Phil?
You could put 8 points next to his name, couldn't you? He saved a try earlier on. He's just come up with another 4 points. They scored more tries from their own half than any other side in Super League, and you've just seen why. Offload and players like Burrow with the pace to goal, 50, 60 metres. Fantastic effort from him. There are men on that pitch almost twice his weight, and at times he's had to contend with trying to tackle them and stop them. He's played to his advantage there. Bit of space, few tiring players, and pressed the accelerator.
Well, Kevin Sinfield, he got 3 from 3 with the boot against Rochdale in the Cup last week. He hasn't kicked a goal in Super League for the last 6 matches. 36 goals, though, from 42 attempts this year. One of the most accurate kickers in the Engage Super League, this fellow, the Leeds captain. Happy to take a breath, really. Difficult kick, but wind at his back, remember. This will swirl towards the posts. Drags it across. Great kick from Kevin Sinfield. Leeds ahead by 6 points to 0 here at Odsal.
Tremendous stuff, really. And you were speaking earlier about the fact that both sides were gritting it. They had to share the work. And the centre, Keith Senior, did just that. He took the ball up just like a prop forward or a second row in the middle of the park, had the audacity to offload to this fella, who was having a fine season. He wants a Great Britain shirt, Brian.
Keeps coming up with plays like that. He's a chance, hasn't he? That was superb play on the back of what we talked about. Leeds just running out of dummy half, finding the offload and troubling the Bradford forwards in and around the middle. But that's great speed, that's great desire, and as Phil quite rightly points out, it's not just the 4 points he scored. What about the 4 points he saved on a dead set try from Ben Harris?
Well, Leeds are seeking a 3rd consecutive win at Odsal under their coach Tony Smith. They haven't lost here since October 2003. But against the Bulls in Super League and playoffs, it's just 10 wins from 34 meetings for the Leeds Rhinos.
You know, I get the impression now, because they've done it so often, that Leeds are quite happy to let it go dead in goal, so they can just face up on that 20 tap. Okay. They know they've got the advantage of the wind, but they also know, and look at the Bradford players having to walk back. They're out on their feet. Look at Leeds.
Quickly out of the blocks for the tackle. Stanley Jean made only 5 metres ground forward then. Here is Deacon, and it comes wide this way to Jamie Langley. Shontaine Harpy. And Lynch drives it forward for the Bulls.
And again. This is an important time for Tony Smith, the Leeds coach. He'll get the message out, say, look, no silly penalties. You know, just keep that defence pretty solid.
Keep coming, mate.
Keep coming in on the angle and forcing them down the middle if they can.
Bulls on halfway. Harris gets them over the halfway line. Offloads then to Marcus St. Hilaire. Little gap opened up briefly. Millard slammed the door. This is the last tackle. And there's the dink over the top. And Lee Smith not interested, just allows the ball to trickle into touch, and Leeds will take head and feet at the scrum.
Not a bad little option there from Henderson, the hooker, on the short blind side. Had a tremendous year last season, and maybe not coming up to the same standard so far this year, but I think you can say that about a lot of the players on both sides.
Ian Henderson, it's his 7th appearance in a row off the bench since Terry Newton returned to the fold. We're in the last minute of the first half. And that was Williams, halted by that man Henderson. Steve McNamara on his way down. It's a trip that's been taken by Brian Noble many, many times in the past. He's not got too far to go tonight, though. Just next door to our studio to talk to Brian McLennan. That's Brian Noble. Steve McNamara with more important things on his mind. Kick downfield is, again, a little long.
Well, as I say, they'll be quite happy with that. They've been very effective with that solid defence. And I have to give credit to this referee, Steve Ganson. It's the best I've seen him referee this year, without a doubt.
10 seconds remaining of this first half that Leeds have won by 6 points to nil, unless there's something dramatic about to happen in the last few seconds. And the tacklers from Leeds see that isn't going to happen. The referee calls that's time, and it's Rob Burrows' try that separates the two teams. 6 minutes before the break, Burrows' try out on the far touchline, improved by Kevin Sinfield, and the Rhinos looking to cement second spot in the table. They are a point ahead of the Bradford Bulls, who are third at this moment in time. If they hang on to this situation, they'll increase the lead over their local rivals to 3 points. We're at Oddsall for the Super League clash between the Bradford Bulls and the Leeds Rhinos. A repeat this of the last two grand finals, and Leeds are ahead by 6 points to nil at half-time, courtesy of the try from Rob Burrow. Well, the Bradford Bulls dressing room here, and Steve McNamara taking centre stage. No sign of Brian Smith, and many people will say that's how it should be. It's down to Steve McNamara now. Brian Smith can be a sounding board for him, but how the team plays is Steve McNamara's responsibility. And they've battled away, but Leeds, well, they're ahead 6-0. They might feel a little aggrieved that it's not 12-0. The video referee, though, deciding to disallow the try from Jamie Peacock. The try that stands is from little Rob Burrow. It's a match, though, that there's only a wafer between the two teams, or 6 points. Now then, during half-time here, we're going to look ahead to this test match between Great Britain and New Zealand that takes place on Tuesday, the 27th of June. It's at St Helens Knowsley Road ground. It is live on Sky Sports 1 from 7:30. And if you need any other information, there's the number for the Rugby Football League. That's the hotline number, their information number. It's 0113 232 9111. Any information about that test match, that's the number to call. Mind you might not have to dial that number, because hopefully over the next 5 minutes or so we're going to tell you all there is to know about the Great Britain-New Zealand test, because as you know, we've got Brian Noble with us. We have another Brian as well, Brian McLennan, the New Zealand coach, who of course had such a great time over here last autumn when the New Zealanders won the Tri-Nations. Welcome back to our shores. Great to see you.
Pleasure to be here, Eddie. Really enjoying the game out here. Nice and quick.
It is quick, isn't it? I understand it's the first Super League match you've seen live. Yeah,
it is, and gee, the English fans are amazing. You know, they beat the fans down under, beat them easy.
Fair enough. Well, I hope that they will beat the fans down under on the 27th of June, because this is a massive match for you two, isn't it? It's a chance for you to see some Super League Kiwis who will be knocking on the door of your Tri-Nations team.
That's right, and you know, we're very determined to retain the cup at the end of the year, and this test match on the 27th gives us a chance to have a good look at the Northern Hemisphere boys with perhaps a few development players.
And is there going to be any Australian-based players coming up? Any of the NRL teams saying they're going to allow their players to come north?
We're still liaising with some clubs, and we're still working through those issues, and I'm sure that come 27th, we'll have a strong team out here.
Sure you will. I tell you what, though, with people like Lauatiti, who's not playing tonight, Kalis, who we'll see tomorrow night for St Helens, Big Leslie, you don't need anyone from the Southern Hemisphere.
Well, I like the looks of Leslie and Shontaine Happy. I think particularly Shonny, he's looking very good. He's quick on his feet, and he's proven a handful for Leeds' right edge there.
Well, I tell you what, if you need any notes about Leslie Vainikolo, Shontaine Harpy, here's your man. You know all about them, Brian, and you'll probably not wish to see them much on the 27th of June.
I might give him a few poor tips on them, though. I might not be telling the truth. That's the problem he's got to face there. But no, there's some world-class players in the New Zealanders in the Super League, and that's why the Super League's such a good competition. The speed of this game, I think, impressed Brian, and there's no need not to believe that the 27th won't be the same. It'll be a full-on test match, and we're looking forward to it. I know that Brian is as well.
Will it be a full-on test match?
Oh, absolutely.
There's no question about that in your mind?
Absolutely. You know, in relation to our preparation, we've been after this for some time now. We've been after a meaningful, and I think the word that we should use is a meaningful fixture in mid-season. It's meaningful for the Kiwis, and it's certainly meaningful for ourselves in relation to knowing each other and knowing to know how we're going to play and getting ourselves a hit out before we get down there.
Were you absolutely committed to this fixture on the 27th as a proper Great Britain team? You were never mindful of perhaps just letting one or two players have a go? I'm thinking, obviously, about the likes of Lee Breers, who doesn't make your squad, and other players who are on the fringe, some of the Salford players, perhaps.
I think we lose the impact of the fixture. I think, you know, I've been to the Super League CEOs, and I have to thank all the clubs in the Super League that have given us this fixture. I went to them and convinced them that we needed a meaningful fixture, something that was worthwhile, that we could get our teeth into, that we could look at and maybe provide a template for what we need at the end of the year as well. In relation to that, we need to pick our best team, in my mind, that we possibly can, and we need to pick form players. Now, if they're form players, they'll be in the team. And in relation to the test match, you just have to ask the Kiwis that I know in and around this country, and it's a mouth-watering prospect for them as well.
Absolutely. We had Monty Beetham, Brian, as our guest on Boots and All the other week, and he, whether he's involved or not, he knows he cannot wait, because he says all the Kiwis, there's about 2 or 3 dozen of them over here, they just really want to get to grips with the British boys.
Yeah, that's right. Monty's a fierce competitor and been a proud Kiwi. And we have lots of players that play in the Northern Hemisphere here who have worn the jersey proud. And I think that they've actually felt a bit left out in the past, especially when we've had the mid-season test matches down in Australia, the Anzac Test. There have been players that we haven't had access to and we would have liked to have. So this is a great opportunity for them.
And, of course, test caps are going to be awarded.
Too right. Yeah, too right.
So it's a full-blown job.
So, yeah, so they should be. So, you know, it's just such a great preparation for us. Right now, the Australians are getting the preparation of 3 State of Origin games, and that gives them the intensity required to put them in good stead for the Tri-Series at the end of the year. This is a great opportunity for Brian and the GB side and our side to get some much-needed solid game time as well.
Well, look, I hope we've been quite hospitable to you tonight, but 27th of June, don't rely on any favours, will you?
Yeah, we'll not rely on any favours from us either, so.
Great to see you, Brian. Thanks very much for coming up here and talking to us during half-time.
Yeah.
And, Brian, all the best for the test match. You've got a little bit more at the back of your mind, I know, before then, but the 27th of June is the time for the test match between Great Britain and New Zealand at St Helens Ground. Be there. If you can't be there, join us on Sky Sports 1. The match will be live from 7:30, and you can see the 2 Bryans going head-to-head. Meanwhile, 40 minutes to go here at Odsal. And it's the Bradford Bulls who have to come from behind against the Leeds Rhinos, who lead 6-0. Cup distractions over for a week or so. Super League is on centre stage again. Bank holiday weekend, 3 games. This one at Bradford. Wigan Saints tomorrow at 7, Sky Sports 1. And Monday, Salford Harlequins, Sky Sports 2 at 7 as well. And as usual, 2 from the NRL in Australia. The live game in the morning, Brisbane against Canterbury. Chris Warren and company will enjoy your company. 10:30 Sky Sports 2. Same channel, same time. NRL Sunday for Parramatta and the Roosters. Half-time here at the big kick-off to the weekend. And it's Bradford Bulls 0. The Leeds Rhinos 6. Burrows try and Sinfield's goal. All we have to show for 40 minutes. Really hard work by the players of both these clubs, as these statistics will tell you. Would you believe that we are seeing the 2 best attacking sides in the Super League on show tonight? Leeds have so far now scored 82 tries this year. They have the best attack. Bradford 71. Theirs is the second best attack. And you might know, after saying things like that, that it is the defence of the 2 teams that have stood up strong from the first whistle. Mr. Ganson is just about ready to get us underway for the second half. And this time, Bradford will have the benefit of the wind at their backs. But just looking at those flags over on the far side again, which is about the only gauge we've got, the wind has dropped just a little. This is Matt James. Made his Super League debut at Hull 3 weeks ago. A skillful prop forward, a youngster who is highly rated here at Odsal. Henderson finds Johnson. Opening set of 6 of the second half. Bradford in possession. The tackle completed by Kevin Sinfield. Ian Henderson to Euston Harris. Gets the balls over halfway, but only just. And Henderson will float it left and find Deacon, finding Stanley Jean on the burst. Halted by Walker's tackle and completed by Danny Maguire. Last tackle, so kick here from Deacon. And that's the problem that Leeds had in the first half. The kicks, if they go high with this wind behind them, it will billow the ball over the dead ball line.
Well, I think they're taking the tactics that was shown by the Rhinos in that first 40. They were quite happy to ensure it went over, get a good line-up in defence to match when they tap on the 20. Be interesting to see how Leeds utilise the wind against them. Will they maybe take the short blind and just kick into touch, get field position, maybe force the error?
This is Sinfield for Leeds. 3 tackles still inside their own half. Millard to Maguire, and here is Lee Smith now. Pushes away from a couple, and Matt James was in quickly with Jamie Langley. Millard, good ball from dummy half, finds Poaching. They're 10 metres inside the Bradford half now on this, the last tackle. Here's Millard. They'll look for Sinfield with the kick. It's off the back of Lynch. Surely not a charge down. Yes, the referee wipes the tackle count down. Andy Lynch had his back to the play here.
Well, I can't see why he's wiped it away, because as you're right, well, he said it, he was turning away, made no attempt to go for that. Oh, this can be attempted as a charge down. It's beyond belief. Hit his leg anyway.
Well, it is, and the referee has given Leeds another set of 6 as Williams take the tackle. This is Millard, and now it's Sinfield, and the runner is Chris Feather, and Feather stands and gets the ball away to Millard. And Millard is halted by a combination of James and Henderson. Sinfield to Rob Burrow. They'll have to watch him, as he proved in the first half with the opening try of this match. Millard, 12 metres away, good set of 6 here for Leeds. Maguire finds Sinfield on one knee, and that was played out. It's picked up by Poaching, and Poaching gets over for the try for Leeds. Willie Poaching with the try at the end of the second set of 6. So Mr. Ganson's decision has paid off handsomely for the Leeds Rhinos. But there is an element of controversy. He had his back to the play when the alleged charge down came. We'll no doubt take another look at that. But Willie Poaching, on his 140th appearance for Leeds, has come up with a very important try.
This should never be in back to 6, as you can see quite clearly. The prop forward Lynch turned his back, hit the legs. Full credit though, Sinfield took full advantage. They shut down Maguire, had a chance to get it away. It was a little dink, it got a deflection. And look at the upper body strength from Poaching. He has a habit, isn't he, this fella, of coming up with a try when they really, really need it. Just got the ricochet, but take nothing away from the strength. Mr. Poaching has done it again. The Rhinos in the ascendancy.
Well, you give this team 10 tackles, which you see is exactly what they got. Any team that scores over 80 tries in half a season is going to come up with a try. What was great was the fact that Burrow and Maguire both took on the defensive line. And when you look at the highest standard of rugby league at the moment in the world, perhaps, the State of Origin match, that's what the best halfbacks do over there. That's what the best halfbacks are doing now for Leeds.
Poaching, the try scorer. The referee had to be absolutely convinced that Andy Lynch had made a play at the ball as he attempted to charge the kick from Sinfield down. He plainly was convinced of that, because Leeds now have a 12-0 advantage here at Odsal. Any comment, gentlemen, about the charge down?
Well, he got it wrong, simple as that. Perhaps the first mistake that Mr. Ganson has made throughout the game, and if that was the case throughout the entire season, I would be very happy indeed.
A mistake, in your opinion, Steve O'Brien?
Well, the only thing you can say in Mr. Ganson's defence is perhaps that Lynch went towards the ball with Fielding to create kick pressure. Whether he turned his back or not, is that deemed to be kick pressure? Is that deemed to be trying to charge it down?
Well, he decided, Mr. Ganson, obviously, that Lynch had played at it or made some attempt. He wiped the tackle count down, and as Phil says, you give Leeds 10 tackles and invariably they will score a try. Here is Burrow. They're 12-0 ahead now at the Rhinos. It's becoming a big hill for Bradford to climb.
Well, I suppose in many ways it has a habit of just evening itself out, doesn't it? In my opinion, early in that first half, the Smith no try should have been given. So maybe that has squared the ledger somewhat.
I think I said that was a Jamie Peacock try at half-time. I apologise. It's Lee Smith. Bill is down at ground level with Mark O'Neill.
Yeah, one of the Leeds players sitting this one out, shoulder problem, and given the fact that Bradford had so much dominance in the first half, for Leeds to be 12-0 up at this stage is no mean feat, is it?
No, it's not. I think you know, they've hung in there really well. It's been an arm wrestle, and we're lucky to get away with the try there at the end. And if we can just play it down in the other half, I'm quite confident we'll come away with the points tonight.
Tremendous strength from Willie Poaching there.
Yeah, it is. He's got a lot of power and a lot of experience too, and he called on all of his power there to get across the line, and it's a great get a 12-point buffer.
And what's the threat do you see coming from the Bulls side?
Oh, look, they're strong all over the park, and they're big men up front. I think we need to be strong around the mark area and control it from there and get our line speed up, and then we'll be in good position then.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mark O'Neill named in the original squad of 20, not used tonight by Tony Smith, the Leeds Rhinos coach. Good tackle by Ian Henderson. Burrow, ball in field, and no way through for Nick Scruton.
Getting through a ton of work, isn't he, Ian Henderson? Really, he's working overtime.
Good set.
This is Millard and Sinfield with the kick straight down the middle. Marcus St-Hilaire flicks it into the arms of Carl Price. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Leeds defenders then converged on the big man. Here is Ben Harris now for the Bradford Bulls.
They put 5 defenders into that tackle, Eddie, because they know if they get on a roll on the first tackle and a quick play the ball, which the Bulls can invariably do, they're very hard to stop. They take you to the end of the field, and all of a sudden you're on your own line under pressure. You've got to control that first one. Serious injury here for some Rhino.
Yes, clash of heads. It's Chev Walker.
It's third, that one, isn't it?
Well, it's pretty hard to see where Walker gets it unless it's a stray boot. There doesn't appear to be anything there, but
Stanley put his hand to his head though, didn't he, straight as he went into the floor.
Don't really see any collision.
There it is.
Oh, maybe he's a hard man to stop.
Chev Walker says I'm okay, and the referee wisely just calling time off while Walker is checked out.
Third play the
It's
ball.
good work from Stanley Jean, wasn't it, to make the official aware.
Great defence from Kevin Sinfield. Bradford having difficulty in breaching this Leeds line, aren't they?
Sure, Leeds know that's where they've got to put their effort. They don't have to put their effort in necessarily when they've got the ball. They're playing all right that way. It's defending. And again, if Lee Smith's happy to take kicks like that, relatively unchallenged.
Smith will play the ball to Maguire. Here is the latest try scorer for Leeds, the second one of the night, Willie Poaching.
Hold, go.
Leeds ahead here on a ground that Bradford boasts the best home record in the Super League, only 20 defeats in 11 years. Either on this ground or at Valley Parade. Well, that is a mistake from Leeds. This is a chance for the Bulls as they spin it wide to Shontaine Harpy. Great defence again, though, from Leeds.
Well, Henderson certainly got a hand to it. Whether it was 2-on-1, it's hard to say. It happened so quickly, as everything has done tonight at Otzel. Really has been a classic game. You've got to start thinking that what's going to happen in the last 10 minutes? They've got to be out on their feet.
They're messing around with the floor. Yestin Harris. Oh, and Henderson is turned on his back. Here is Johnson. Gets the ball away to Ben Harris. Couldn't get the pass out wide to Carl Price. There's Marcus St. Hilaire. Now, Andy Lynch. Justin Harris keeps it going. Deacon forward and wide to Vainicolo.
Oh, great cover defence there. Donald and Maguire got themselves well across. It was a good floating pass.
And Deacon with the crossfield kick, looking for big Carl Price. But it is not Carl Price, but young Danny Williams who comes up with the goods.
What a take. Timed it to near perfection. Oh, it went backwards.
Oh, knock on. Big call from Mr. Ganson.
Certainly was.
Another big call from the officials tonight.
Well, that definitely went backwards. Certainly lost it backwards. If anything, it was a Bradford hand, Justin Harris, that had the knock on. The Bulls won't mind. Will they do a set move around the base?
Ball is out eventually. Deacon finds Ben Harris. Oh, and it went backwards. Shontaine Harpy hangs on. That was nearly an awful error by Bradford on the first tackle. Here is Harris. Poor pass. It bounces to Carl Price, but he's good at picking those up.
What a pick up on the half volley.
But you have to admire this Leeds Rhinos defence tonight so far. Justin Harris. Stanley Jean. Back it goes to Harris again. And he floats it wide to Leslie Vainicolo. Oh, Chev Walker did well. Stood his ground. Pressure still not off. St. Hilaire, Stanley Jean, senior in his face very quickly. Back it goes to Deacon. Deacon takes the tackle. Leeds scrambling in defence and doing it well thus far. Henderson. Lynch gets the ball away somehow. Justin Harris. Stanley again. Over the top. Straight into the arms of Gareth Ellis. Leeds survive. A little scared. Lose the ball. No.
Went backwards. Well, it certainly ricocheted away, but he was very quick, was the little halfback, Rob Burrow. Well, that fully deserved a try for Bradford. They kept the ball alive. And Gareth Ellis came to the rescue. A little over-the-top pass, and that's play on. No, he's going to put the scrum down.
Oh, it's a penalty to Leeds.
Well, it looked one-on-one, and it's getting very, very Fracci out there. That's one-on-one to mine.
Well, how's he given that as a penalty?
If you looked at his body language, he wasn't clear. He looked for some help from the sideline, and in the end he had to just make the best we guess he could. It's speeded up, hasn't it? The Bulls' defence now really ripping in, Eddie.
They are. The Leeds get their first penalty after 52 minutes. Miller. Scruton.
It's important now the Rhinos make good use of this field position. Try to get a double set of 6 if they can.
Millard to Maguire. Here is Peacock.
When you've got a lead of 12-0, you can control the game, make sure that you just keep turning your opposition around.
Bailey turns, brushes away Henderson, or tries to. Langley gets him low down. Millard waits the dummy half. Angled run from Maguire, just couldn't get the ball away to Scruton under immense pressure from Ian Henderson. Here's Sinfield, comes wide to Keith Senior. Senior grounded, tackle number 5, Burrow. Sinfield, jinking one way then the other, stabbing the kick in, picked up underneath his own post by Paul Deacon, who loses it. Back to 1. Watch the tackle count clean, does Mr. Ganson.
And he's got it right. Millard definitely had a lunge for that one. Oh, they passed on the line, and they got away with it. That was near suicide. Sheer panic going through the heads of the Bradford players at the moment.
St. Hilaire not impressed with the tackle. Here's Stanley Jean again.
Second movement. Come on, boys.
You've got both teams now ready trying to lift to another level. Bradford to try and get back into the match, and Leeds hopefully to kill off the Bulls. A couple of substitutions for the Bulls at the moment. Newton back on, maybe to energise them and provide some creativity in the middle of the field.
As Langley takes tackle number 4. There is Newton. Fresh legs, finds Lynch. Lynch offloads, bounces to Deacon. Deacon then, on to Fielden. Oh, Fielden passes it to Senior.
Senior knows how important it is. He wasn't going to have anything to do with trying to offload. He knows they're in a good position now.
Immense pressure from the Rhinos, giving them that chance. And here is Gareth Ellis. Wonderful defence on show here from Leeds.
Good position by the big centre, Keith Senior. Had to.
Burrow.
Will they think about a 1 point, maybe?
Burrow to Scruton. Lynch gets him down. 3 tackles gone, 3 remaining, 10 metres away from the line with Maguire. Here is little Rob Burrow trying to pinch another one. Tackle by Stanley Jean, finished off by Paul Deacon. It's with Maguire. Now it's Sinfield. Here's Ellis. Good defence from Ben Harris. Last tackle for the Rhinos. Sinfield, wide. Williams. Held up, short of the line, he lost it forward.
Time off.
Quick thinking there by Kevin Sinfield. It took on the short blind. It looked at least there was a problem in regards to they thought they were going to go for the kick. Thought he may have just caught this Bradford outfit napping, but the defence throughout has been nothing short of perfect.
It's the turnover here. Remarkable, Phil, isn't it, that these two sides who attack, the two best attacking teams in the competition, and tonight we're praising their defence.
Well, there's two sides, isn't there, to a game of rugby league, and they're showing that they can play both of those sides. They have to hang on. The Bulls have shown that character in the past. Here comes Big Field, and they need to get to the other end of the field. They score very rarely from within their own half, and here comes Myers. They'll just charge the way simply upfield. And the left-hand side, Harpe and Vainicolo, that's the big threat that Leeds face.
Terry Newton to Deacon, it's a long ball, and Harris waited for it and lost it.
Cannot believe it.
Neither can he.
That could be the turning point of the game. He was away. He's not the fastest person in the world, but he had them on the rack, and he just lost the marbles. Could not control it. He can't believe it. And the crowd here, and it's a big one, absolutely stunned if you're a Bulls fan. Oh.
Well, it is a big crowd, and the Bradford supporters are beginning to bite their fingernails. Sands of time not exactly running out just yet. There's still 24 minutes or thereabouts to go. But it's Leeds who are coming forward again with Williams. He thought about the offload, the youngster, but got pushed back. Great defence from Myers and Newton. This is Millard. Now it's Gareth Ellis.
Bit of a change in tactics as well from the play the ball area. Leeds quite content to just farm it out, especially when Millard's around. Not so much running from dummy half as we saw in the first.
Burrow flicks the ball to Peacock. He's broken the Bradford line. Harpe gets him down with help from Vainicolo. 18 metres away from the Bradford Bulls line. Millard to Burrow. Walker will score another for Leeds. Chev Walker for the Rhinos. They seem to have just a little bit too much for Bradford tonight. And the Rhinos open up a 16-point gap. Chev Walker, future not settled, turned down a contract this week. They might have to add a nought or two.
Beautiful work on that short blind side. The offload from Rob Burrow. He didn't even look at the opposition. Watch him, he looked there, bang. He knew where he was going to get it. Sucked in Deacon. Well, this guy's put himself in the shop window tonight. Speculation as to where he's going. Could it be with the rah-rahs? Who knows?
The short side player was the one that's killed them. They came across to the left, they've shifted it back to the right, and the vision there from the Leeds players to recognise a simple 3v2 opportunity. Some people say rugby league players aren't that bright, but that instant recognition is a high sign of intelligence, and the Rhinos had it right then.
Chev Walker, 6 times a Great Britain international, 83rd try in 169 appearances for the Rhinos now. And Kevin Sinfield has been faultless with his kicking. The first two with wind at his back. This one, wind in the face. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sinfield gives Leeds an 18-point advantage, and that could be too far for Bradford.
Quick thinking there, dummy half play, quite superb. As soon as they put themselves in, you can see Deacon had not filled in. He held back. As soon as he was sucked in, Barrow says, take it. And the big fella said, I will take the TRY. Great play.
A quarter of the match remaining, Brian Noble. Can Bradford come back?
Absolutely. 3 scores is nothing in today's game, and it was on the back of a Bradford error. You know, Yestin was in the clear. Mabley was going to post 6 points for the Bulls, so they've got to keep believing. They're going to have to move the ball a little bit, but lay that preparatory groundwork by running around the ruck and getting Leeds on the back foot as well. But Leeds are continuing to do against Bradford.
But Bradford aren't as penetrative going forward as the Leeds Rhinos are so far, Phil.
No, and I'm just going to ask Brian again, how did you score against this Rhino side? I know that it's been an hour, the Bulls have been trying the hardest, but what do they need to do to come up with a try, Brian?
Well, what they need to do is get the ball on the fringe and have their halves running at people with short balls. But they need to also lay the platform first, as Leeds have done, which just means get the Bradford middle people on the back foot, find a couple of offloads around the ruck, and have some of their dangerous runners running at the Leeds people one-on-one as well.
Sinfield claps his hands, asks for a big effort as we approach the final quarter of this absorbing contest at Odsal, which at the moment is going Leeds Rhinos' way. If they win here tonight, it'll be a 3-point gap between themselves and Bradford, and they'll have closed the gap on Saints at the top of the table, and Wigan can do the competition and themselves a big favour, of course, tomorrow night at the JJB Stadium. The match you can see with us here on Sky Sports 1. We are with you from 7 o'clock tomorrow night for Wigan Saints. It's a big weekend for the Super League, this. Here is Stanley Jean. Go, gets the ball away to Terry Newton. He offloads also to Jamie Langley, but not much ground forward by the Bulls then. Stanley Jean now will attack the defensive line again.
Ooh, nearly offloaded there. Just wobbled as he got through it. But this Leeds defence has been superb, hasn't it, throughout this night. Tony Smith, I know, has been working hard, and he's made it quite clear that they haven't been playing at the best. They know that.
Leeds have it back. Bradford got in a right tangle again on the last tackle. And Peacock was the man who came to the Rhinos' rescue. Scott Donald is wrestled to the ground by Yestin Harris. Here is Williams.
Well, with all the hard work that Bradford's had to put up, especially in the second half in defence, maybe it's time that Leeds may just keep them napping, you know, sort of missed tackle, good run from deep, and again, good work from Lee Smith.
Inching their way towards halfway again. Here is Burrow. Gets away from Stanley Jean. Can't get away from Big Joe Vangenaar. Last tackle for Leeds. The kick from Danny Maguire, cross field. Collected by Carl Price. Now, can he get ahead of steam up? No, it's great defence again from Leeds.
Kick and chase has been good as well from Leeds. You know, Brian, you must be... You've got to admire such good tactics that Leeds have especially done in the second half.
Well, they're just simple. They've not changed that much, Mike, in all fairness. What they've done is managed to speed up around the ruck and catch Bradford's bigger people a little bit on the back foot. They've done a half run. They've not changed in the second half. They've ignored the conditions and the wind conditions, and they've just leathered the ball. Now it's Bradford have to chase the game and find some similar things.
Leeds Rhinos have now not conceded a point for over 140 minutes of rugby league. 80 minutes of the cup tie last week, 62.5 here tonight, and with defence like that, it is difficult to see a way through for the Bradford Bulls.
Well, to be fair to Vangenaar, you had to try to keep the offload at 18-0. They've got to start testing their arm and just maybe taking huge risks.
Was that Peacock trying to sidestep Shantae Harvey then?
Yeah, I think he's in the vortex. This
is Sinfield. Been a very good performance from Leeds thus far. 63 minutes gone, 18-0 they lead. Maguire to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Eventually Bradford get to him, the shape of Vangenaar and Fielden. This is Matt Diskin. Here is Shane Millard. They look a lot more vigorous, don't they, coming forward, Leeds, at the moment, than Bradford. Bradford a little pedestrian.
A lot of enthusiasm's out there, and I just really feel that Bradford are getting out on their feet. They're running out of steam.
Important tackle by Harpy and Myers as Chev Walker waits for Lee Smith to play the ball, which he does. Here is Sinfield. There's the dab to the in-goal, but too deep.
I think he was going to try to hit the upright there.
He shakes his head. He's annoyed with himself with the kick.
Certainly is. Now then, can we get length of the field?
Carl Price.
Well done, Jamie.
Still got plenty of time. It isn't always into the last 10, but maybe something a little bit different. Maybe a scoop from dummy half, little kick through, grubber, or maybe a glance over the top.
Bradford need to score, though, to give themselves hope with a quarter of an hour to go. That's a good run from Newton. Halted by Chev Walker, gets the ball away, but it's pinched by Matt Diskin out of the arms of Jamie Langley. Here's Scruton.
Such an important movement, you know, when you can just steal the ball.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Demoralising for the opposition as well.
Sinfield fires the pass to Keith Senior. Senior trying to go inside. Ben Harris does well defensively then. Millard, Sinfield, Maguire, Lee Smith playing an increasing role in this Leeds side. Last tackle, Diskin, 20 metres out. Maguire side foots the ball to the in-goal area. Ooh, and Leslie Vinacolo took the gamble. It came off. Donald was hunting.
Nice option as well. We all realised that on the corners here at Otzel, it used to be the speedway track. It rises up about 3 metres.
That's a pretty big slope. That's Everest, isn't it?
Well,
Brian, what is the exact raise of the corners, if any?
Well, we train there, and I promise you, Tenzin Norke and Edmund Hillary don't need to use it. It's no more different than any other field.
Second here.
Well, I must be watching the wrong field then.
Well, I don't know. Phil Clark and company are doing the Three Peaks Challenge in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe they should just do the 4 corners of Otzel.
I tell you what, they'll be happy. I wish they thought it was only that far.
I think Dave Hadfield's just been practicing walking up and down those.
Here is Leslie Vinacolo. There is no way through for Bradford tonight.
Swarming defence, good tactics, working as a unit. A lot of talk out there from the Rhinos.
Fielder knew he wasn't expecting that. Seniors worked hard.
5.
They all have. Both sides.
Newton with a dab down the line. Lee Smith picks it up.
He's been fantastic, Eddie, in my opinion. I thought when they lost Richie Mathers to knee injury, it really might affect the Rhinos, and Richie Mathers had a fantastic year so far until he was sadly injured. But Lee Smith, his work rate, he's almost been equivalent to 2 players. He's done that much work.
Indeed so, and I think fullback is his preferred position, isn't it? So
well, he's certainly shown it tonight, and you know, we've got nothing to do with the man of the match, but he would have to be a great contender. There's a man that unfortunately has finished his career at Leeds. He'll be going down under
to the Gold Coast to play alongside Brian Carney in 2007. Oh, that bounces back, and it's back to 0 again in the tackle count. Diskin was first to react. Here is Bailey. Leeds looking to put this game to bed. Diskin again from 20 metres out. Sinfield, space here down the right for Leeds as Maguire tries to find it. Gives it to Lee Smith off the fingertips of Jamie Peacock. A golden chance to wrap the game up is gone. But is the game beyond Bradford anyway?
It's always difficult when you're going to offload when someone's running on the angle and you know that your teammate is just stood there. I think he couldn't move a muscle.
He had it stuck in reverse, didn't he? He's trying to find that forward gear.
Draining experience playing Super League at this pace and at this intensity. It's a tribute to the players' physical fitness that they're out there, and they are playing it as tough, as quick as the very first minute. This is Fielden.
Third. Here.
We've seen some magical games already through this season.
Oh, it's a penalty to Leeds.
He was not happy.
Off the mark. Play the ball on the mark.
I thought he was going to have a brain explosion then. He brought the foot back.
Well, the referee's interpretation is that He tried to move off the mark.
Yep. As you say, it's down to the interpretation.
Don't think it's going to be Bradford's night somehow. Only 4 penalties in the match. That was Leeds' second. This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan. 11 minutes to go. Time the enemy for Bradford now as much as Leeds. Millard. Harris wrestles him to the floor.
At the end of this game, Eddie, I would love to see the actual play time. It must be so high.
Maguire flicks the ball back. Peacock. Myers and Langley get to him. Maguire.
Well, this is where I'd be looking for the one. Trundle
Bailey.
right up in front of the post.
Bailey. Never interested in one, looking for 4.
He's got it.
Ryan Bailey gets the 4-pointer. Leeds will get the 2 points in the Super League ladder. And they close the gap on the Saints to the top of the table. Ryan Bailey with a marauding run.
Sheer power. They had the numbers. He's pushed off Johnson. Newton was there, but he squirmed around.
The referee checking for a possible obstruction, I think, on Terry Newton, but I just think Bailey deserves a try here.
No, he's gone through. No worries about that.
He has another chance to get him anyway, doesn't he? 5 metres from the line. Bailey's determination, what an impact. Started on the substitutes bench today, and I think sent on with an instruction, make a difference. Boy, he's done that.
It'll be TRY, Phil. No doubt about it.
Try for the Rhinos and Ryan Bailey. Ryan Bailey now only his 2nd try of the season. Terrific run, barnstorming run late on, and Bradford had no answer to it. And Leeds Rhinos, I think they're going to take home the spoils.
Well, they had the numbers there, but the ability to spin out, it's a great tactic. When you know that everybody's going to go high, no one went for the legs. Just try to spin out of the tackle and bang, straight in. Great effort.
Sinfield hasn't missed from 3 out on the touchline. He doesn't miss from nearly in front. And the Rhinos ahead by 24 points to 0. Big brother Brian is alongside Steve McNamara. It's Tony Smith's night. And Ryan Bailey with the 4th Leeds try, and Steve McNamara with a problem. Walker collects the shallow kickoff, gives it in field to Millard. 9.5 minutes to go. Leeds on their way to a great win against Bradford, the 3rd consecutive win at Odsal.
I don't think that Tony Smith, the Leeds coach, will be looking to just close this game down either.
Well, why should they? They've got the cushion of 24 points. And frankly, Steve, apart from maybe once or twice in the first half, the Bulls have rarely looked like they were going to penetrate this Leeds defence.
Well, they missed the opportunity, especially when Justin Harris, remember, made that break at a crucial moment in the game, and he just lost control of it. That could have turned things around, and it's simple errors like that that make sure you pick up losing pay.
Here's Vanacola. You're asking how long the ball had been in play during this game, Steve-O. 62.5 minutes out of 71.5.
That is unbelievable.
And the pressure on Leslie Vanacola. It's a knock-on by the big man.
Oh, that was reefed out, but did it go backwards? Either way, they've given it as an error against this big fella. They haven't had much luck, especially in the second half. But give credit to this Rhinos defence. They've got into their faces. They've really, really worked hard. And they've worked together as a unit.
They're looking to really finish them off here. Oh, the pass from Maguire to Williams just made the young man stretch a bit. And he knocked on the first tackle. That will not please Tony Smith. But the overall performance tonight will, Steve-O. You say that Bradford haven't had much luck. Well, 1 or 2 calls from the referee have gone against them, but Leeds tonight,
superb.
They've been magnificent.
Yeah.
They have.
And we often talk about team spirit, talk about the ability to work for each other, and they've shown that. It has been a good tackle. They've all been in congratulating each other, and they've got back.
This is Brad Myers. I just wonder, there were a couple of players on the original team sheet who had to be taken out because of this virus that's running through Odsal, which we knew nothing about until just before the kick-off. I just wonder whether it has affected one or two of the other players who are out there tonight as well. It hasn't been a Bradford-esque performance. Now maybe Leslie Vainicolo will produce something late on to disprove that. No, great defence again. Easton Harris, a knock on by Lynch. It's been that sort of a night for Bradford. Let's find out from Dave Hatfield who the man of the match is.
We think Shontaine Happy's been as good as anyone for a Bradford side. It's really rather struggling at the moment. Chev Walker's been good as well, but no real doubt about her choice. He scored a brilliant try. He set up another one with some wonderful work down the blind side. Maybe possibly the best tackle of the game as well. We can't look past him tonight. Okay. Our man of the match, Rob Burrow.
Rob Burrow wins the Gillette Sports Pack as man of the match. Very well deserved for the little fellow, but I'm with Phil Clark. Lee Smith must have run them very close.
Well, I don't think Rob started shaving yet, so he might share it out with Lee.
You never know. That was a forward pass, it appeared so.
I tell you who else has a massive influence on this game. The return of Kevin Sinfield for Leeds is huge for them. You know, he's a great player in his own right, but what he does for this team in particular is outstanding. He finds a kick play when the other two can't. He allows the other two halves, if you like, to run the ball whilst he organises.
And on top of that, Brian, we've just seen him doing the cover defence, coming over just like an old-fashioned loose forward shot. And he took out the big fella, Leslie Vainicolo. He really has been missed by the Leeds outfit, hasn't he, when he was out injured.
He's a super player, isn't he?
Leeds, Bradford were waiting for the kick, and Maguire cuts them open up the middle, fires the pass out wide, and it missed everybody. Well, it was brilliant 1 minute, and the next second from Maguire, the pass just a little too ambitious.
Well, the raised arm from the fullback, Lee Smith, said it all. I was there on the inside. It's easy to say that. With a 24-0, I'm sure that it really won't go down as a poor error.
5 minutes to go. Leeds close the gap on St Helens at the top of the table. Saints at Wigan tomorrow night. Our Saturday night live date with you from the Super League on this bank holiday Monday. This bank holiday weekend is Wigan against Saints. On Monday, it's Salford against the Harlequins. 7 o'clock, that one, Sky Sports 2.
You've got to applaud both sides as well. Okay, error after error. And they're just tired physically as well as mentally. As I say, credit both sides. It's been a good effort from Bradford for a fair amount of the time, but the sheer quality of Leeds just keep coming at them all the time. I think that both sides will be happy that the dressing rooms these days are down on the pitch side. Remember, in the olden days, you used to have to walk about 158 steps. I don't think any of these players would have been able to make it.
This is Diskin again for Leeds. Must be a wee while since Bradford were nilled on their own ground. And as if by magic, I can tell you, they've only been nilled once previously at home in Super League by St Helens. June the 27th, 2003. 35 points to nil. Well, it's not been quite that bad tonight. Well done to Ian Proctor. Anything you want to know about rugby league, he's your man. Sinfield, infield to Burrow. This is Ellis.
That's play on.
It is play on, should be. Ben Harris. Bailey got to him though. Stopped the momentum. Sinfield finished him off.
But notice how Leeds, okay, they come up with the error. The ball has gone through. There was 5 of them turning round straight away to ensure they got the cover sorted out.
This is Harris. Here is Langley. 3 minutes to go. Keeps it going to Shontaine Harpy. Myers will go up the middle. Ball goes to ground. Knock on. Nothing's gone right for Bradford tonight. Steve McNamara will be frustrated. 24-0, Brian. You've only done it once yourself. In Super League, you've lost with a nil scoreline against you at home. What do you say at the end of a night like this?
Well, you dust yourself down and get Humpty Dumpty back together again, don't you? And it's next week. The reality is they've not been that bad. They've chased the game and they've made some errors late on in the game. They've come across a very determined Leeds side tonight who've managed, if you remember the first half an hour, the first 35 minutes, Bradford could have had a couple of tries and the game could have been totally different. And they'll take the positives out of this, Bradford, because they have done some good things.
Sinfield, Senior to the corner, stepped out of the challenges. It's another Leeds try, that wraps it up. 28 points to nil, the kick to come from Kevin Sinfield, don't back against him from kicking it. And it has been a hugely impressive night for the Leeds Rhinos. Keith Senior has been magnificent tonight in defence, and he just wraps it up with a great try in the last couple of minutes. Keith Senior and Leeds, it's a great win for them.
Just stretching out, off balance, Ben Harris takes full advantage, and this will really please the big centre, Keith Senior. He's back to top form, and when you know you can get through the opposition and have the speed to go into the corner, it's a confidence boost. He's happy. Tongues out. TRY.
He's played in more Super League games than anyone else. Keith Senior, this is his 261st out of 280 possible in the last 11 seasons, and his appetite goes from strength to strength. Fantastic try from Senior, just stepped out of the challenges. And Kevin Sinfield, well, he's kicked impeccably tonight. He will not want a blemish alongside his name either. He has landed every goal, he has answered every call that's been made of him, converted the tries of Burrow, Poaching, Walker and Bailey. Can he now add the extras to Keith Senior's try? This for a 30-0 scoreline. 30-0 it is. A big win for Leeds. A confidence-boosting win for the Rhinos. A magnificent night for Leeds.
Well, the Super League took a breather last week for the Challenge Cup. Start of the second half of 2006, and the Rhinos have showed they've got what it takes.
The full-time siren came before Paul Deacon kicked the ball. Lee Smith just hammers the ball onto the top of the stand just in case. A wonderful display from Leeds tonight. They went toe-to-toe in the first half. It was a long time before the first points came. When they did, they only came to the Rhinos. They have won 30 points to nil. It has been a great night for the Leeds Rhinos. They have come to Odsal. They've won here for the third time in a row. 30 points to nil. Rob Burrows, the man of the match. He's with Bill.
Rob, I think Leeds only the second side to nil Bradford on their own patch in Super League. That says something about your defensive effort, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We've been concentrating on the defence all week. We had a great week of training, and we were looking for that performance for a while now. And finally it's here, and hopefully we can kick on from there.
Yeah, because you hadn't been probably playing it to the best of your potential. Maybe you're closer to it tonight.
That's right, yeah. Against big teams like Bradford, you need to perform well, and we've been off the boil a little bit in the recent months. So it's good to be back now, yeah.
Well done on a man of the match performance tonight, Rob.
Thank you. Thanks to Gillette. Thanks.
Magnificent performance from Rob Burrow. A magnificent performance from the Leeds Rhinos. Steve McNamara took over from Brian Noble 6 games ago. Now he has lost 4 of those 6. Let's not dwell on Steve McNamara's problems, Brian, because I'm sure as a mate of his you won't want to do that, but let's devote a bit of time to praising the Rhinos because they were magnificent tonight.
Well, they were patient as well. The 30-0 scoreline suggests they've thrown the ball around, and they haven't. What they've done is work away at the middle, got some decent dummy half running, some speedy dummy half running that's troubled Bradford, and found a couple of offloads on the end of it, and then the game's opened up from towards the back end when Bradford were chasing it. I don't think there's much between the two sides, and if you had a few players that Bradford are missing tonight back into the mix, I think they're very, very evenly matched. And whilst Bradford will be disappointed, they mustn't lose sight of their big picture and understand that they can do exactly the same as last year. They had a reversal about the same time last year and managed to kick on and get their just rewards at the end.
We don't know, Phil, of course, how much this virus that swept through the Bradford camp just before the kick-off, or indeed throughout the course of today, has taken out of the players. But Leeds, they are now the nearest challengers to St Helens at the top of the table.
Quite clearly, aren't they, on that performance? And I think the season's all about peaking for the big games, isn't it, at the right time of the year? Maybe Leeds played too well last year in the May, June, July months and had nothing left for the big days later in the year. So I think they want to have learnt from those experiences and time the peaking, really, and get it. You've got to get to 2 finals and win them both. That's what they're aiming for. They've started the second half of Super League very impressively.
Indeed so, as opposed to last year where they got to 2 finals and lost them both. Steve-O, a win for Leeds, comprehensive, but early in the second half, not without its touch of controversy.
Yeah, well, we always seem to have it done in the big games. It'd take nothing away from Leeds, but I just thought that Lady Luck went away from this Bradford outfit. This is the charge down. To me, you see Lynch turn his body, and that is no charge down in my book. I'm not the official. They got the extra 6, and from it, they kept the ball alive. And watch this. Absolute super play. Poaching, so strong. And it's just that things go against you. We take the intercept from Harris. There's no one at home, and he just drops it. You know, sometimes you need a little bit of luck on the side. When you look at the scoreline, 30 points to 0, you'd think that this Leeds outfit just strolled through it. It wasn't. It was a very, very tough game for both of them. And I agree with Brian Noble that, you know, a few more bringing them back into this Bradford side, they will be there at the end, don't worry. You know, maybe just that little bit of luck could have gone their way. If Harris perhaps could have scored in that particular issue, then you never know. It could have just turned the other way. But a great effort. Lee Smith at full-back, absolutely superb. And the captain, Sinfield, boy, they missed him when he was injured, but he shows his quality tonight.
Yes, a great win for the Leeds Rhinos then, and, well, they will march on in second spot behind the Saints at the top of the table. By the way, if you're a fan of Sky Sports News, maybe you want to tune across to them in a few moments' time, because they've got some big news breaking, they tell us, on Sky Sports News surrounding Ian Dowie, Terry Venables and Andy Johnson from the world of football. That's to come tonight on Sky Sports News. Now then, still to come here, there's a choice of live action on Sky Sports. Next, boxing, Friday fight night as Carl Frock takes on Brian McGee for the British and Commonwealth super middleweight titles here on Sky Sports 1. Right now there's cricket with West Indies India on Sky Sports 2, and there's US Tour Golf over on Sky Sports 3. The Rugby League continues. The NRL, we have our 2 programmes as usual this weekend. The Broncos and the Bulldogs is a live match in the morning at 10:30 Sky Sports 2. Same time, same channel on Sunday for Parramatta Eels and the Roosters and every other try scored. And from the Super League, 2 more to come for you this bank holiday. Wigan Saints, Saturday night, 7 Sky Sports 1. Salford Harlequins, Monday night, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. We'll see Brian again tomorrow night then. Will he be smiling? Stay with us and find out. From all of us, goodbye. The crack of beers, and Rob Burrow is the man who produced it. Walker will score another for Leeds. Senior to the corner, it's another Leeds try, that wraps it up.